Hello and welcome to a very special video that's going to showcase another one of my collecting passions, and that is fractional silver bullion. The word bullion, when you hear it, generally makes you think of large chunks of metal, usually in bars or ingot form, that you put away for investment potential, and that's really what bullion's meant to be. However, something unusual happened in 1980. What you see in front of you here is a 1 ounce Johnson Matthey 1 troy ounce silver bar, and this was put out so that the common person can invest in silver without buying a huge 5,000 ounce contract. They could buy a little bit at a time. But what happened in 1980 is the Hunt brothers tried to corner the silver market and ran up prices. And in fact, silver at one time in 1980 peaked at about $50 an ounce, and this was the result of that madness. What you see on your left here is a Johnson Matthey 1 gram silver bar. Now that's such a tiny bar as far as, for something that you would invest money in. Who wants 40 or 50 cents worth of silver? It's not even worth that much today at $9 and some cents an ounce. But at the time when it was $50 an ounce, this bar was worth almost $2 in silver. So it was meant as a something that you could be bought and sold as an investment vehicle. What happened is a lot of these pieces ended up in jewelry, and when the silver prices came back down to earth and they crashed in 81, 82, many of these were in fact melted to form new bars. So these have become quite scarce, quite rare. This is the Johnson Matthey 1 gram silver bar, and on the reverse the Johnson Matthey repeating logo. In addition to the 1 gram bar, they also made a 5 gram bar in and around the same time. Okay, there's 4 different types of 5 gram bars that I'm aware of. I've just casually called them Type 1 and Type 2 for the first two that I'll show you. This, I believe, this is what I call the Type 1. It's got a plain back. So you get the Johnson Matthey Assayers Refiners Fine Silver 5 grams with a plain back. After that piece came this piece here. This is what I call a Type 2. I'm assuming that that was the order that they were put out in, only because this is a more intricate, detailed bar, and usually things get more intricate the second time around than they were the first time. So I'm assuming that this bar is the Type 1 and this bar is the Type 2. You'll notice a few slight differences on the front of the bar, namely in the rectangle versus the box position for fine silver, and Johnson Matthey spelled out rather than just having a logo. On the reverse, it's plainly obvious what's going on between the two of them. So I have the Type 1 and the Type 2 5 gram bars. Then Johnson Matthey put out the special collector's edition. All you can see from knowing that this is a Johnson Matthey piece is right at the bottom here where it says JM. Can you see that? JM with the little axes crossed, the pickaxes. You'll see the saline ship here. The saline ship is meant to represent that this piece of silver, this actual piece of silver, was produced from silver found in a shipwreck. I'm embarrassed to tell you that I don't remember the name of the shipwreck, but it was limited to 20,000 pieces from the best information that I can gather. So that shipwreck right there, and all these bars are serial numbered at the bottom here. They're all stamped with a serial number, unique, and this is a highly collectible bar. This is a very valuable compared to those other two, even though it contains the same amount of silver because of the history behind the piece. These are pretty valuable, and they're quite rare. I mean, if you come across them on eBay at a decent price, and by decent I mean under 30 bucks, I would jump on them. Next we have a koalagram bar. Excuse me. This is also a Johnson Matthey effort. In the front you just see 5 gram silver. Now the shape and size of this one is different than the previous 3 bars that I showed you. The other ones are flat and wide. This one is short and stocky, kind of like me. It's hard to see here through the plastic, but this one is probably twice as thick as this one, but it's nowhere near the surface area. I don't know why they changed it to this. There are several other very popular bars that have this format rather than the other format, which we're going to get to later in the video. There's a little koala bear on the back, and I don't know what the mintages are on any of these pieces for sure. It's all speculation, but we can't extrapolate by the number of serial numbers on the bottom of the bar how many it was possible to make. This one's got 5 serial numbers at the bottom, if you can see that. So at the very most, there can only be 99,999. So there has to be less than 100,000 of these produced. Probably far less than that, I would imagine. Those are the 5 gram bars. After the 5 gram bars, Johnson Matthey had a 10 gram bar. And I like to think of this as like a typeset of fractional silver Johnson Matthey stuff. I'm pretty proud to have pieced it all together. It took me many years. Again, now we have 2 Johnson Matthey 10 gram bars. They're almost identical on the front. In fact, I don't see any differences at all. But, oops, let me pick that back up. But when you flip them over, the difference is readily apparent. So, I'm assuming this was the first effort and this was the second effort. So again, we'll call this the Type 1, we'll call this the Type 2 for all of you serious enthusiasts such as myself. In addition to the 10 gram bar is a half ounce bar. Now these are more scarce than the 10 gram bars, these half ounce bars. I've yet to see a quarter ounce bar. If there's a Johnson Matthey silver quarter ounce bar out there, I'll pay very strong money for it to have an example in my collection. So please get to me if you find one of those. I do not know of its existence. So this is the half ounce Johnson Matthey bar. These are pretty rare. I've only come across a few of these in my travels. And then we have a 2 ounce bar. There's another very rare bar from Johnson Matthey, is a 2 ounce bar. You almost never see these. I think I've seen 2 in my life. So this is, to me anyways, an extremely rare bar. I don't know if they were all melted down or what the deal is, or maybe they're just sitting in somebody's garage somewhere. But that's the Johnson Matthey series. So now we're going to pick up with some other odds and ends from other companies. Here's a Pomp Swiss 2.5 gram silver bar. Now there's 31.103 grams in a tri-ounce, so this is a little bit less than 1/10 of an ounce of silver. And I believe, personally, I don't have facts to back this up, but I believe that this is a newer issue, because I've seen a lot of them on eBay as of late, and it's in relatively modern packaging. So don't pay too much of a premium on this. Here is an extremely rare bar, and I know it's not modern, because I've only seen them beat up like this. This is a 1/10 ounce silver bar. Usually the fractionals are, small bars like this are weighed in grams. They're stated in grams. This is 1/10 of an ounce. Pretty unusual. Now these are associated, these are 5 gram bars from different refineries. We got a Credit Suisse on the left and an SP Silver on the right, Singapore Mint. They're both 5 grams. And next is a Crown Mint and a Delaniga Mint. Both are 5 gram pieces. This one features Ronald Reagan. This one has some boats on it. These are kind of cool because they're toned. This says the Delaniga Mint, 5 grams, 999 fine. But they're toned, so they're kind of cool. And then finally we have the very popular Engelhart 5 gram. Now Engelhart's a major manufacturer, so this is an extremely collectible and popular bar here. This is a 5 gram silver. You can see again it's been toned. Somehow it was protected in this area. And this is a GW. There's a lot of generic brands out there. I collect them all because I like to have one example of each, but I don't really focus too much energy or attention on these generic bars. Who knows if they're even made out of silver. Okay, after that I'm going to show you real quickly some 20 gram bars. This is a JM&M. I have no idea who they are. This is a 20 gram bar. Here's a Credit Suisse Fine Silver. Notice the spelling of that. Fine Silver. That's pretty cool. 20 gram bar. And here's a Credit Suisse in English. 20 grams of fine silver. Okay, so that's pretty neat. And last but not least, we're going to show you an IBJ 20 gram silver. It's got a rose on the back. And that'll do it for part 1. I've got part 2 coming up because we're running out of time here. So stay tuned for part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.